Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another pen for review, and as you can see here, this says Cross. So this is a Cross Peerless 125. It comes in this outer shell box, cardboard box. So I think we'll remove it from that outer shell, and you'll be able to see the box here that it actually comes in. Now, if I lift the lid, the first thing you'll see is a care guide here which says Cross, established 1846 USA, and then this, and this is the Cross Titanium edition. So if I remove the box, I'll show you the pen in a little bit more detail. So I have gone on a little bit of a kick with Cross more recently. I have bought 3 Cross Peerless 125s. This was in 2023, last year, and you can see here that it has a gemstone on the cap finial, which I like a lot, and I think that actually makes the pen look a little bit more inviting. This is the titanium version, so it does also, in my mind, look quite nice. I do wonder whether or not with the titanium version they should have actually not gone with a platinum trim, but maybe a ruthenium trim. I think that might have looked a little bit better. But the cap tapers down here to what is the cap finial. You've got this very standoutish clip, which is functional, but I'm not really a great fan of that clip. The pen is fairly cylindrical all the way down to what is the cap band there, and then you see as it steps down it will say Cross Peerless 125, and then the body, it kind of tapers down here towards the end cap. Now this is a cartridge converter pen. If I unscrew the cap, you'll see here it says Cross Peerless 125 on the nib. Now, this is a fine nib on this pen, and I bought this on eBay and for a very good price. And once I got the platinum version, I wanted the titanium and I wanted a quartz blue. The eBay seller didn't list the nib width, so this actually turned out to be a fine nib, which I am not as much of a fan of, because this nib is already made by Sailor. So a Sailor is an Asian nib, so you're looking, if it's a fine, it's going to be close to an extra fine in Western medium terms. But you can see in the size of my hand that this fits quite nicely. I can also post the cap deeply and securely. It does add a little bit of back weight to it if you're holding it on the section. If you were to hold it up on the threads, it's actually more comfortable. But you can post that cap if you wish to do so, which I think is a good idea. In terms of the section isn't concave, and it's quite shiny and slippery. So I do find that my fingers do kind of slide down towards the stop part here, but that doesn't really stop my fingers going off. And you can see there, I've already got some ink on my finger. So that really, to me, I prefer concave sections because they dip in the middle, and that's where your fingers tend to rest, and then they don't slip out. But I know a lot of people don't like concave sections, so and obviously Cross have designed a pen without a concave section, probably for that reason. You do get a cartridge converter with this pen. You also get a cartridge as well. This is actually quite a good fit in my hand, so I do like the pen here. Now, I do find though that sort of the cap screws on nicely there. I do find on this model that, and I don't know if you'll be able to hear this, you probably won't, but when I screw and unscrew this, I feel that and hear that it's gripping on here and making a little bit of a like a plastic scraping noise, and it does actually turn the converter a little bit. Now, it doesn't do that on my Peerless 125 in platinum. just does it on this titanium. So it feels as though maybe the body here isn't quite drilled as deeply to support a Cross Peerless converter. But you just have to be a little bit careful when you screw that on, because it might sort of eject a drop or two of ink, but that's about it. I think with that, let's do a size check, we'll do a weight check, we'll do a pen comparison, and then we'll do a writing sample. So the length of the pen, we're looking about 145 about 143 millimeters in length. The length of the cap, looking about 63 millimeters in length. And then the length of the body to the tip of the nib or tip of the tines, we're looking at about 128 millimeters in length. So that is quite a longer pen, but not quite an oversized pen. But you can see in the size of my hand, that's actually a pretty decent size. So I think with that, let's do a weight check. So the full weight of the pen, and this is uninked, we're looking at just over 47 grams in weight. The weight of the cap, we are looking at just over 18.5 grams in weight, and then the weight of the body uninked, we are looking at just under around 28.5 grams in weight. So it's not a lightweight pen, but it's also not a super heavy pen either. But I do like the design of this. I do like the titanium look. It does just look the part in my mind. So I think with that, let's do a comparison with other pens. So from left to right, we have an Anoto Magna Classic in the Chased Amber. We have an Anoto Great Roof, and this is the metallic edition. We have a Mr. Cypress Maple in the Forest. We have a Mont Blanc homage to Brothers Grimm. We have a Cross Peerless 125 in the titanium. We have a Mont Blanc, and this is La Petite Prince Aviator Douai edition. We have a Mr. Cypress Eggshell 01, a Mr. Cypress Kawari Nuri Deep Light 1, a Mr. Cypress Kawari Nuri Deep Light 3, and then we have a Benu Talisman, and this is the Tiger's Eye. So I think with that, let's go and do a writing sample. So this is the Cross Peerless 125, and this is the titanium, and it's a fine, and it's an 18 karat gold nib, and the ink in here is actually Franklin Christoph, and it's Sweet Maroon. Now, I think in terms of ink wetness, let's take a look at this. And we'll do a horizontal pass. We'll also do a line test. I normally do that first. I just forgot it. So we'll do a vertical line test. You can see that this really is putting down like an extra fine Western line. If I push it a bit harder, maybe I can get a fine out of it. But at this nib width, I'm not going to push it. If I do some more vertical lines, you can see that there's no hard starts or skips there. So this actually is quite a wet writer. It's just not a super wet writing nib. Now, what do I like? What do I not like about the pen? I like that it has a sailor nib. It's a Cross Peerless pen made by Cross. It's made in China. However, this is actually a very weighty pen, and I think it's quite a stylish pen as well. I do like that it's a metal pen, and I do like that the nibs are made by Sailor, so they are tuned well. Now, when I bought this pen, I bought it on eBay, and unfortunately, I didn't know the nib width. The seller didn't list it, and it was an auction, so I didn't ask. And I thought it would just be a medium nib, but it turned out to be a fine, and I'm not that much of a fan of fine nibs. But they do have their place, and I do sometimes write with fine nibs. But this is a little bit more on the finer side than I'm used to. I like the pen. I like it a lot. I like the colour. I like the size. I like the weight. I guess the only thing I do dislike is that clip, which is a little bit more on the standoutish size, I would say. But other than that, I do like the pen, and I do write with this pen, and I will be writing with it. But I would prefer a medium or a broad nib, I think, in this pen. And I've got a medium in my platinum version of this pen, and I may look at seeing if I can get some extra spare nibs. I have not seen them around much for the Cross Peerless, only the Cross Bailey. So if I can get a medium nib or do a swap with somebody, I might just do that, because I'm not really a fan of this fine nib. But that's just my own personal preference, and I did buy it without asking what the nib width was. So there you have it. That's my unboxing and review of the Cross Peerless 125 in titanium in a fine 18 karat gold Sailor nib. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.